I want to show you how I made this t-shirt. Now this is a prime example of something that could be done just as well with either white toner or direct to film. You can see we have some great color, we have some white. I did not have to weed this or cut this. Now in this instance, we chose to go with white toner, and let me walk you through the process. So when it comes to printing with white toner, it's fairly simple and straightforward. You're gonna import your graphic into the software. In this case, we're using Digital Factory. And you're gonna resize it. If you wanna add some processing, you can, like rasterization. In this case, we just send it straight to print. And then it comes right out of our Creo 8432 WDT printer. Now, when it comes off the printer, it looks just like this. Now, you might recognize this. This looks very similar to a print that would have come right out of a direct-to-film printer because the process is very similar. Now, at this point, whether you're doing DTF or white toner, it's time to apply the adhesive. Now, when you're working with white toner, the adhesive application and cure is done in a single step. We call it the A-B marriage. So you take your A sheet, which is the printed sheet, and you place it together with the B sheet, which is the sheet of adhesive. And we're gonna heat press these together for about 90 seconds. Now, because I'm printing both the front and the back, and they're not both gonna fit on the same sheet, I do have two separate prints, so we're gonna have to do this twice, once for each print. Now, after the 90 seconds, we're gonna peel our two sheets apart, and the adhesive from the B sheet is now permanently married to the print on my A sheet. Gonna give it a very light trim around the edges just to make sure that there's no adhesive residue or anything that's gonna end up on my shirt that I don't want to be there. And now we're ready to go. Gonna load my t-shirt onto my press. We're gonna do the back first. So I'm gonna put my print down, position it right where it needs to be, cover with parchment, and press for 30 seconds. Now, white toner is gonna be a cold peel. So I'm gonna take this over to my desk, let it cool for a few moments before I peel it off. You do wanna make sure that it's completely cooled before you peel. Now, once it's cooled off, we're gonna go ahead and peel it in a low rolling motion. Once it's peeled off, now we could press the front side. But before we do, I'm gonna put some parchment paper on the bottom platen of my heat press, so that way the print that's on the back doesn't get stuck to the bottom plate of my machine. Gonna go ahead and place my transfer on the front now, position it right where it needs to be, cover with parchment, and we're gonna repeat the same steps. I'm gonna press it for 30 seconds, bring it over to my desk to cool. Once it's cool, I'm gonna peel it off in a low, smooth rolling motion. Now, both sides are pressed. It's time for the finishing steps. Now, when these prints are first peeled, they're gonna be a little bit glossy, and to kind of kill that gloss and set the transfer into the garment, we're gonna give it a repress. All that I have to do, bring it back to my machine, cover it with some parchment, press for about 10 to 15 seconds. And what's funny is that because the back of my shirt was already pressed down, technically that's already been done because it was pressed up against the parchment. So I'm really just repressing the front. Both sides are sealed into the shirt. They're gonna last a very long time, and I think they look fantastic. Now, if we're doing a quick comparison between the process for this garment and if I would have done it in a DTF machine, instead of heat pressing my adhesive to the film in the process of DTF, I would pour powder adhesive over the film, shake off the excess, and then bring that film over to a curing station. It's a specially made small oven that's meant to cure the ink to the powder adhesive. Now, once that's done, the process is a little bit faster for direct to film because then I could just press it to the garment for 15 seconds and then peel it hot. So the finished part is just a little bit faster, but overall, this shirt is faster to do with white toner. You see, this shirt, I had it done front and back right about the 8-minute mark. And that's because laser printers are extremely fast at producing the initial print onto our A sheet. Now, for this print on a direct-to-film printer would take at least 8 minutes just to come out of the printer. Then would come the time for powder, curing, and final pressing. So on the heat press itself, sure, direct-to-film is a little bit faster. When you factor in the entire process, white toner is the speed king. Now, it's a little bit apples to oranges when we're talking about pricing. So let's talk about equipment. For white toner, it's very simple. All you need is your white toner printer and your heat press. When it comes to direct to film, in theory, you could get by with just your printer and your heat press, but you don't want to be curing on your heat press. It's not safe. You're going to need an extra fume extractor. We don't recommend curing on the heat press. So when it comes to direct to film, you're going to need your printer, your heat press, a powdering station, and a curing station. Sometimes you can get the powdering and curing station in a combo like the Miro 13. Sometimes they're separate. But overall, there's a little bit more equipment and space required in your home, in your office, in your shop for direct to film than what would be needed for white toner. Now, like we always say here at Heat Press Nation, there's not one single product that's right for everybody, just what's right for you. So in some cases, white toner might be the best choice, and in some cases, direct to film might be the right choice. Because we were on a time constraint for this shirt, we went the white toner route. But if you have any questions about these products, feel free to give us a call at 800-215-0894. You could also get lots more information about both processes right here on our YouTube channel. And by the way, since we're talking about YouTube, do me a favor, hit that like button and subscribe. For a complete selection of all of our heat transfer products and equipment, visit us at heatpressnation.com.